want people to know who's Jesus Christ. I want people to know who's God.
I want to employ as many people as I can, not as employment, but entrepreneurship.
It's about the kids, it's about their lives, it's about their future, it's about the souls.
All of us have a purpose, all of us have a reason to be here.
Ricardo Zapata, and I am a Community Transformation Director.
And I am Rick's wife.
I came to the Lord at the age of 30 in a little church in Simi Valley, California, Spanish-speaking church. And when I gave my life to the Lord, I had no clue about anything.
But Jesus.
I wrestled through the whole thing because I had a pretty cool job, I thought. I worked in retirement plans, I made decent money, you know, we were living the dream. And so when I felt called into ministry, I began to wrestle with God because I said, okay, God, I know I want to serve you, but can I do it on the weekends and still keep my job weekdays? He answered my prayer by getting me laid off. I'd had a dream about that, actually. So in the dream, I'm sitting across the room in a conference room from my boss, and he's telling me he's letting me go, and I'm thanking him for the opportunity that he's given me. But every time I woke up, I would think, no, that's crazy. I mean, he's very happy with the work I'm doing. I'm obviously very happy with where I am and the job and the pay and so on. So I was like, I'd just wake up and dismiss it. So I had that dream twice, and I wouldn't even share it because it was impossible, right? Until it happened, until he calls me into the conference room, and I thought we were going to plan a meeting that was coming up. And then when he begins and he's saying, this is coming, you're not going to believe this or understand, but I'm going to have to let you go. You know, I was like initially, I went numb, right? Like, I just, from top to bottom, and when it got to my ears, I couldn't even hear.
You just see his mouth.
It's surreal. I saw his mouth moving and I could no longer hear, right? My body just went numb for a minute, and then when I came back, it was like the first thing that came to my mind was the dream.
He started the studies and with no intention to do any ministry, but then the Lord started changing both of our hearts. I mean, he was the one going to school, but also he was working in me.
You know, God kept showing us South Africa in different ways, and we kept saying no. Why South Africa? There's so many, you know, it's a developed country, on books it's 80% Christian, but God had some different plans, so we wound up in South Africa after all. I think God is perfect in what he does, and he had a purpose for us to be here.
I was a supervisor in Ghana in construction industries. We built big schools and hospitals and stuff like that. There was one pastor who became a very close friend. So we used to chat, and I'll tell him my experience, what I've done, the things I've done as a kid and all that. So he said to me, he thinks that God loves me and he's got something for me to do. So he says, he thinks that I can do very well in South Africa than in Ghana. And I said to him, oh hell no, not South Africa.
We're looking at about 100 tons of recyclables.
And Rick helped me to get 3 scales.
And Josh has this incredible heart for empowerment and entrepreneurship.
I had wanted to quit, but God hasn't allowed me. I believe helping the individuals in the church to grow and develop, whether being in business or in practical life, and not just about asking them to bring the leader the money, but to use all resources to empower.
It's a little bit of a village, you can say so, because we don't like to saying it is an orphanage or a home. The thing is, when you said this is a home or a orphanage, it's like you're putting stigma on the kids. I was working at Fashion World in East London, so I did travel with a taxi or a train at that time. So on my way to work, I just bump into these kids. In the morning, they were running around the street. Sometimes I just go to work without lunch, or just leave my lunch to the kids. I do have my own kids, my own responsibility. I'm a married woman, but I feel like this is not me. This is not who I am. I need to quit. I need to do something about these kids. I just quit. My husband, he said, if you want to do it, I'm 100% behind you. I will support you 100%. And starting from that day, he does that.
How has Rick helped you?
Oh, spiritual side. He's a friend, he's a brother. He's, even if we need him without the word of God, he will be there for us.
But she walked into my office, and immediately there was a connection with this girl. And she said to me, I have a vision, and I've given up my job, and the vision is to look after the orphans. Immediately what I knew is that this is something that I wanted to be part of. To change their world, you know, to be able to sleep in a space where there's no leaks, to be able to sleep in a bed that was warm, for them to be able to have electricity with some television, to be able to do all of that was just a blessing. Some things that we take for granted, but that they were extremely grateful for. And God was very specific with me. He said, where you are is where I want you to be. And he said, if I'm faithful with small things, he'll make me faithful with big things. And I remember saying, I don't know what the future holds, but I want your will for my life.
I was working at Johnson & Johnson. Every time when I'm going to work, in the morning I have to see some young children going to school without shoes. Then every time I felt guilty. So every time when I'm getting paid, I always make sure that I collect some money so that I can buy a lot of shoes. There at work, I had a calling from the Lord, the calling that said I must quit working, but I ignored the calling. And the calling kept on coming, and I ignored the calling. Why me? Why don't you go and look for other people to do what you want me to do? Then God answered me and said, I told you, you must quit working and you must go and help people. People need you. And then I was buying food, I was buying wheelchairs, I was buying walking sticks, I was buying shoes for children. Then I started buying bread, I started buying soup, then I started a soup kitchen there.
Rick has become the Trinity. So what we've got is we've got community leaders that bring their vision to us. So they become the visionaries. And we become the provisionaries. So we can help Bulelani build his shack, provide it on a weekly basis, the food that he needs to feed the kids, so soups and breads and stuff. Buyiso becomes the visionary that brings us, this is her vision for the orphans. God has given her this vision. And what Rick has done is God has sent him to be the missionary, which is now that completes the Trinity.
All I do is meet people that really God orchestrates that. I step out and we build relationships, and then those relationships lead to connecting those different people together, and then you watch God do something in the middle of that.
All God asks us to do is just to say yes, to be obedient. We don't need to have the resources or be equipped in any way in how to do things, because He's the one that is going to make it happen. But it's just being available and obedient.
My hope, my prayer is that people will see this and they will be, one, moved to do something, and two, encouraged to see how God is at work in the midst of some really tough circumstances. God is still working and God is still doing incredible things.